Abhino Saya Do Bhyamanada Adada Kinka Vapayanti Dabaya Do Pasana Dita Hidu Dhamam Idi Imadame Adadi Idana Hodi Imada Niroda Idan Nirozadi Yadida Aweza Niroda Dinkara Nirodo
Vandami Bhante. Good evening, Bhante. Bhante, can hear us? Sahabat Dhamma mohon menunggu sebentar, kami masih menunggu koneksi dengan Bhante. Vandami Bhante. Is Bhante able to hear us? Wandami Bante.
Good morning.
Okay, Bante,
Good
can you hear
evening.
us?
Yes, good evening. Yes.
Okay. Wandami Bante, please allow us to start today's session and pay respect to Bante 3 times. Sahabat Dhamma, mari kita memberi penghormatan ke Bhikkhu Watagoda Maggavihā dengan bersikap anjali dan membuka badan banyak 3 kali. Selamat malam sahabat Dhamma yang berbahagia. Sukihotu Namo Buddhaya. Semoga sahabat Dhamma selalu sehat dan bahagia. Sadu, sadu, sadu. Nama saya Shania yang akan memandu kegiatan malam ini. Sungguh berbahagia kita semua mendapatkan kesempatan yang baik sekali untuk mengikuti sesi Dhamma Talk yang dibawakan oleh Bhikkhu Watagoda Maggavihā dengan judul Memenuhi Penyempurnaan untuk Mencapai Pembebasan Bagian ke-9 atau Pāramī, Fulfilling Perfections to Attain Liberation Part 9. Sebelum kita mulai sesi ini, mari kita bersikap anjali dan membacakan permohonan 5 sila bersama-sama. Good evening, Wandami Bhante. Before we start the Dhamma talk, we would like to request for 5 precepts. Aham Bhante, Tisaranena saha, Panca silam, Dhammam yacami, Anugaham katwa, Silam detha, Me Bhante, Dutiyampi, Aham Bhante, Tisaranena saha, Panca silam, Dhammam yacami, Anugaham katwa, Silam detha, Me Bhante, Tatiyampi, Aham Bhante, Tisaranena saha, Panca silam, Dhammam yacami, Anugaham katwa, Silam detha, Me Bhante.
Yamahang vadami tang vadetha.
Ama Bhante.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddham saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchami.
Saranaгаmanang sampunnang.
Ama Bhante.
Panātipātā vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Panatipata weramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Adinādāna vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Adinadana weramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Āmesu miccācārā vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Kamesu miccācara weramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Sāvādā vēramani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi.
Musawada Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
සුරාමේරය මජ්ජපමා දට්ඨානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
Surameraya Majapamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
ඉදම් සබ්බේ සත්තා අවේරා හොන්තු
Sabe satta awera hontu.
අභ්‍යාපජ්ජා හොන්තු
Abhyapaja hontu.
අනීඝා හොන්තු
Anikha hontu.
ඒ අත්තානං පරිහරන්තු
Sukhi attanam pariharantu.
දුක්ඛාමුච්ඡන්තු
Dukkha mujantu.
යථාලද්ද සම්පත්තිතෝ මා විගච්ඡන්තු
Yatha latha sampatito ma vigachantu.
අම්මස්සකා
Kammasaka.
කරණේන සද්ධින් පංචශීලං ධම්මං සාදුකම් සුරක්ෂිතං කତ୍වා අප්පමාදේන සම්පාදේ තබ්බං.
Amma bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sahabat Dhamma, mari kita bersikap hormat dan penuh perhatian saat mendengarkan penjelasan yang akan disampaikan oleh Bhikkhu Watagoda Maggavihā dan diterjemahkan oleh Brother Adiansyah. Bhante, we would like to invite Bhante to kindly start the Dhamma talk now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So today we are going to continue our lecture series on Pāramī, which we have been doing for some time now. And from the beginning, we introduced what Pāramī are and how should one complete Pāramī in order to attain the threefold Bodhi, and what type of a mindset one should maintain in order to fulfill the Pāramīs in accordance with the Bodhi that one is wishing to attain. And then we moved on to Dana Pāramī. So today we are going to talk about something new about Dana Pāramī.
Selamat malam Bapak Ibu, kita akan kembali melanjutkan diskusi kita, seri kita tentang Pāramī yang telah berlangsung sekian waktu. Sejak awal pembahasan kita sudah membahas tentang apa itu Pāramī, bagaimana melengkapi Pāramī sesuai dengan 3 tipe pencerahan atau bodi yang bisa dicapai, dan juga mindset atau pola pikir seperti apa yang diperlukan dalam rangka memenuhi Pāramī dan juga mencapai 3 tipe pencerahan atau bodi. Kita sudah membahas tentang dana Pāramī, dan kali ini kita akan masuk lebih jauh lagi membahas beberapa hal yang belum kita bahas terkait dengan dana.
Today we are going to talk about the objects that are being offered in donations.
Kali ini kita akan membahas tentang benda atau objek yang didanakan atau diberikan.
So dana becomes manifold based on the object that is being offered. Mainly it is threefold. If someone offers requisites, such donation is called Amisa dana. Then if someone gives abhaya is security or life, that's called abhaya dana. Then if someone gives offer teachings that teach Dhamma, it's called Dhamma dana. So this is the main 3 classification of dana based on the thing that is being offered.
Berdasarkan dengan objek yang diberikan atau didanakan, dana ini bisa dibagi menjadi beberapa. Jika yang diberikan adalah kebutuhan pokok, ini disebut sebagai amisa dana. Jika yang diberikan adalah rasa aman atau keselamatan jiwa, ini disebut sebagai abhaya dana. Dan jika yang diberikan adalah pengajaran atau pembabaran dhamma, ini disebut sebagai dhamma dana.
Yeah, then we have another twofold. Dana is again twofold based on the thing that is being offered. Actually, it's Amisadana we are talking now. Now we'll focus on Amisadana only. people can offer requisites that are external, that are not connected to their life, not connected to their bodies. And then also they can offer body parts which are called ajjattika dana. So first one is called bahira dana, bahira, things that are external, and ajjattika, things that are internal, that are considered as parts of myself, such as body parts and the entire life.
Jadi jika kita fokus sekarang ke bagian daripada amisa dana, ini bisa dibagi menjadi dua lagi. Yang pertama adalah yang disebut sebagai bahira dana, yaitu dana barang-barang atau yang tidak berkaitan dengan diri kita, pemberian barang-barang eksternal. Sedangkan yang kedua adalah ajitika dana, ini adalah memberikan bagi barang yang berkaitan dengan diri kita, ya seperti misalnya organ-organ tubuh kita atau memberikan diri kita sendiri.
Bahira dana involves donating things such as clothes, money, dwellings, food, beverages, and even it goes to the extent of offering a kingdom by the king who owns the kingdom, and also donating the wife and children. So this covers the entire range, almost the entire range of whatever that is external, that is not a part of yourself, is called bahira dana.
Ya, bahira dana ini adalah barang-barang yang tidak berkaitan dengan jasmani kita sendiri, misalnya pemberian pakaian, makanan, uang, tempat tinggal, bahkan dalam range tertentu, misalnya seorang raja mempersembahkan kerajaannya atau istri dan anak seperti itu, ini disebut sebagai bahira dana.
Ajjattika dana involves donating body parts such as eyes, ears, nose, flesh, blood, sometimes even the head, and also the entire body as a food or some other as a benefit for someone else. And the next type of ajjattika dana is becoming a slave of another person. So these are the ajjattika danas.
Lalu ajatika dana ini adalah yang berkaitan dengan jasmani kita, yaitu misalnya mendonorkan mata, darah, dalam beberapa kasus misalnya telinga, hidung, atau bagian tubuh lain. Dan juga bagian daripada ajatika dana adalah mengabdi menjadi budak bagi seseorang. Ini zaman dulu ya. Ya, ini bagian dari ajatika dana.
And then dana is again fourfold according to Vinaya, tenfold according to Suttanta, and sixfold according to Abhidhamma.
Sorry, can repeat Bante? Sorry, according to Vinaya?
Fourfold according to Vinaya, sixfold according to Abhidhamma, tenfold according to Suttanta, and sixfold according to Abhidhamma.
Oke, jadi jika kita mau bedah lebih dalam lagi, dana itu terbagi menjadi 4 menurut Vinaya, dan kemudian menjadi 10 menurut Sutta, dan 6 menurut Abhidhamma.
According to Vinaya, offering 4 requisites to monks: robes, food, dwelling, senasana, and medicine. These are the fourfold Vinaya danas we call.
Menurut Vinaya, pembagian amisa dana itu ada 4, yaitu adalah pemberian makanan, pakaian, tempat tinggal, dan juga obat-obatan. Ini adalah amisa dana menurut Vinaya.
Then according to Suttanta, we have 10 types of danas: offering anna, pana, offering food, offering juices like beverages, anna, pana, Vattha is offering clothes. Seyya is offering furniture, chairs and beds. Avasata offering dwellings. Mala offering garlands. Vilepana offering cosmetics. These are the 7. Then first these are the seven out of 10.
Oke, pemberian berdasarkan sutta itu ada 10, seperti misalnya pemberian makanan, pemberian sari buah atau jus, lalu pemberian pakaian, furniture, tempat tinggal, lalu kalungan bunga, garland ya, kalungan bunga, dan juga kosmetik. Ini 7 dari 10.
Yeah. Then ganda is the aroma, good smell. Then we have yana, vehicles, and also slippers. Then padipeya, that is lights, like lamps and the lights.
Lalu 3 lagi adalah pemberian aroma, bau-bauan yang menyenangkan, misalnya dupa dan lain-lain. Lalu juga kendaraan, termasuk sandal di sini. Lalu yang terakhir adalah pemberian cahaya, misalnya memberikan lilin atau lampu untuk menerangi kegelapan.
So these are the 10 types of dana according to Suttanta.
Jadi inilah pemberian 10 macam dana menurut Suttanta.
Then we have Abhidhamma Rupa Dana, that is offering good color, colorful things. Saddha Dana, offering pleasant sounds, music. Gandha Dana, offering good smell. Prasadana, offering taste by making delicious food and offering them. Pottabha Dana, offering things that have pleasant contact, touch, that are very pleasant to the body. Dhammadana in that sense is offering anything other than what belongs to the first 5 categories.
Menurut Abhidhamma, ini dibagi menjadi 6, yaitu adalah rupa dana, yaitu berupa benda-benda fisik ya. Lalu sadadana, yaitu berupa suara. Ganda berupa kecapan, lalu ganda berupa bau-bauan. Rasa, itu adalah rasa, kecapan. Lalu potaba, itu adalah sentuhan, dan juga adalah dana dhamma. Tapi dana dhamma di sini konteksnya adalah dana apapun yang tidak masuk dalam kategori 5 dana yang sebelumnya.
So how should one contemplate while offering these types of things? Now, first we'll focus on Bahira and Ajjata, offering external thing and offering internal things. We'll try to get some insights about these offerings.
Jadi bagaimana seseorang harus melakukan kontemplasi atau merenungkan pada saat memberikan dana ini. Kita akan mulai dengan pemberian bahira dan ajatika dana, yaitu pemberian benda-benda eksternal dan internal.
We'll talk about them based on the dana parami of a Maha Bodhisattva, because that is the highest form of dana parami, which includes like offering anything that is possible to be offered. And then we'll be able to understand how we should perform dana in order to fulfill our range of paramis.
Kita akan melihat dari kacamata dana parami seorang Maha Bodhisatta, yaitu level tertinggi di mana memberikan apapun yang bisa didanakan. Ya, kemudian kita bisa mengkontemplasikannya sesuai dengan pemenuhan dana parami yang ingin kita capai.
The practice of dana parami done by a Maha Bodhisattva is one of the greatest activities done by a human being. It ranges for eons, starting from the day he got the first proclamation in front of a Buddha till the moment he attained Buddhahood. And it also extends to the before the proclamation, when he was practicing as a bodhisattva who is not certain to attain. After he becomes certain in front of a Buddha, then we call him niyata bodhisattva. Niyata bodhisattva is one who is destined to be a Buddha one day. Aniyata bodhisattva is the before the proclamation. So during this entire period, he has been fulfilling paramis, giving dana like no one else in the world. Only he can be matched, compared with another person, another bodhisattva, another person who is inclined to become a Samma Sambuddha. And in his parami, there is nothing that he did. stuck වෙනවා නේ. In his practice of offering the dana parami, there was nothing that he did not offer that could be offered. So he is a person who gives everything that is possible to be offered, and that is one of the greatest activities we can call labors of a human being, and this extends for eons, number of eons, uncountable number of eons, and he has been doing this continuously till he comes to the attainment of Samma Sambuddhahood. So we'll try to analyze this, what type of a mindset he has and how he fulfills his dana parami and how difficult it is to fulfill this parami. So then we can apply it into our lives.
Baik, praktik dana parami oleh seorang maha bodhisattva merupakan praktik dana terbesar yang dilakukan oleh manusia. Ini bisa berlangsung selama berkalpa-kalpa, bahkan dimulai dari masa beliau masih menjadi seorang aniyata bodhisatta, jadi seorang bodhisatta yang belum memperoleh kepastian atau belum memperoleh prediksi atau dari seorang sama Buddha, sampai beliau kemudian menjadi seorang niyata bodhisatta, seorang bodhisatta yang sudah mendapatkan kepastian, sampai dengan ketika beliau mencapai pencerahan sempurna menjadi seorang sama Buddha. Ini berlangsung berkalpa-kalpa dalam skala atau level yang lebih tinggi dari yang bisa dilakukan oleh makhluk apapun. Hanya bisa dibandingkan dengan sesama bodhisatta juga. Karena dalam level ini tidak ada satupun yang dapat didanakan itu belum didanakan. Jadi ini menjadi sesuatu yang menarik untuk kita pelajari lebih dalam. Bagaimana mindset daripada seorang maha bodhisatta, serta bagaimana kesulitan-kesulitan dan tantangan yang dihadapi dalam pemenuhan dana parami, sehingga kita bisa belajar dan menerapkannya dalam pemenuhan parami kita sendiri.
Whenever he is offering external things such as food, money, dwellings, clothes, he always gives to the people who are in need of them. Normally, we don't offer things to people who are not in need of them. For example, if someone has money, he's not in need of our money, right? So anyone, if there is a receiver who is in need of things, he will offer them, and to the extent that would satisfy them. For example, if someone is in need of some amount of money, and the person also, the bodhisattva also has money for his own sustenance, then he would always fulfill the desires. He would not give to a level that the person is not fulfilled. Even he's offering food to someone, he would make sure he would make sure that the person is filled, like he is satisfied with the food. So always he would satisfy the desires of the receiver. So that is a very admirable aspect of donations made by the bodhisattva.
Jadi ketika seorang bodhisatta mendanakan seperti misalnya uang, makanan, tempat tinggal, dan lain-lain, dia memberikannya kepada seorang yang membutuhkannya. Jadi ketika seorang itu sudah membutuhkan, beliau mendanakannya, dan mendanakannya tidak setengah-setengah. Jadi level mendanakannya adalah sampai dengan orang itu merasa terpuaskan, kebutuhannya terpenuhi dan beliau merasa puas. Jadi ketika beliau mendanakan makanan misalnya atau uang, beliau ini memastikan bahwa kebutuhan orang tersebut sudah betul-betul terpenuhi dan dia merasa puas. Jadi inilah level dana daripada seorang maha bodhisatta.
Normally, bodhisattas do not offer things that the person doesn't need. For example, if someone is in need of food, he would not offer clothes to them. He would rather offer money to buy the food, or directly the foods. So likewise, normally he is very aware, he is very attentive to offer the things that the person needs. That's also a very admirable thing. And to the extent he needs, the person needs. So he always makes sure to satisfy the receiver, at the same time to give what the receiver in need of. So that's another admirable quality of the person, because it shows that the Bodhisattva is considerate about the receiver. So in dana, what we expect is to serve the receiver. We are doing a benefit to the receiver, So he makes sure that the receiver gets what he wants, and to the extent he wants.
Jadi dalam seorang bodhisatta dalam memenuhi dana paraminya, beliau akan selalu memberikan sesuai apa yang dibutuhkan daripada si penerima. Jadi misalnya seorang itu membutuhkan makan, tidak akan terjadi misalnya bodhisatta memberikan pakaian, seperti itu contohnya, ataupun sebaliknya. Jadi bodhisatta ini akan sangat mempertimbangkan masak-masak apa yang dibutuhkan oleh si penerima dana, dan juga memastikan bahwa dana yang diberikan akan mampu memenuhi kebutuhannya sampai level yang maksimal, dan sampai si penerima itu merasa puas dan cukup.
And it is also mentioned in the commentaries that if the Bodhisattva gets to know that someone is in need of something, it's his nature to offer the things to the person even before he asks for them, even before the person asks for them. So Bodhisattva is like, this shows that he is inclined towards offering. He doesn't want to keep things for himself. That's a very great inclination of the Bodhisattva himself, because normally we want things for ourselves, and we want to be happier and satisfied with, like, we want more and to be luxurious, or to experience, to have the idea that I have things. That's one of the very good sensual ideas that a person would have, like, I own such and such wealth and I have such and such things. But the Bodhisattva's inclination is to give, not to keep. So whenever he gets to know that this particular person is in need of something, even before he asks for it, it's his nature to go to him and ask for his, inquire about his needs and to offer them. So likewise, the Bodhisattva gives what the receiver needs to the extent he or she needs, and also he's very desirous to give the things even before the receiver asks for them.
Jadi bahkan menurut kitab komentar dikatakan bahwa bodhisattva itu melakukan dana sebelum ada permohonan atau permintaan dana. Jadi ini merupakan sikap batin yang luar biasa daripada seorang bodhisattva, di mana berbeda dengan kebanyakan orang yang merasa nyaman menumpuk harta benda, merasa senang ketika punya ini dan itu, merasa aman, bahagia dengan kepemilikannya. Bodhisatta di sini cenderung untuk selalu mencari siapa yang membutuhkan dana. Bahkan beliau dalam hal ini menjadi aktif mencari tahu siapa yang membutuhkan dan apa yang dibutuhkan. Ini adalah sifat alami daripada seorang bodhisattva, kecenderungan alami daripada seorang bodhisattva, yaitu mencari tahu siapa yang sedang membutuhkan dana atas barang-barang yang dimilikinya, dan juga memastikan bahwa dipenuhi sampai level yang memuaskan.
When he's offering, he doesn't keep any expectation about the requisite. He just completely gives it up. After giving, he doesn't worry or thinks about it, or it was good that if I didn't give it, or I could have got more benefits out of it, I could have given to one of my workers and got the work done. Like it happened to one of the rich men in the ancient India. once a rich man, a Pacceka Buddha approached a rich man's house and he offered him, he happily offered him a plate of rice, a full curry, a full meal. And having received it, the Pacceka Buddha went back. After some time, this person had a thought that that was a waste. My offering was a waste. If I had given it to one of my slaves, he would have eaten and worked for me. That would have earned me something. So then he regretted about offering that. Though he accumulated a great merit by offering to a Pacceka Buddha, since he regretted later, he had the wealth and the luxuries he obtained by his dana, he was unable to enjoy them very well. That was one of the defects. So though while he was offering, he didn't have such a thought, but later he regretted. So it shows that, it indicates that the attachment was not fully given up. So sometimes we do give up things, we do give up people, but if the attachment was not fully eradicated or removed, or attachment was not fully overcome, later on we tend to regret about our decision. So bodhisattvas make sure that they don't leave any trace of attachment towards what they offer. So then they can actually be happy about their donations. And also the receiver. Think about the receivers from the receiver's side. For example, if you receive a gift from someone, and if you happen to know that the one who offered is regretting about offering it, then we would also feel very guilty or not pleasant about using that thing. Because then you will feel that he or she is regretting about doing it. So the receiver also feels very bad when someone says, I regret about giving it to you or offering it to you, or he gets to know that he or she is regretting, then the receiver also feels something bad about it. So for the both sides, it's very uncomfortable. So the bodhisattva make it sure that when he offers or gives something to someone, he doesn't regret about it. So he gives it up, gives it up without leaving any trace of attachment. That is also a very good, admirable quality about the donation of a bodhisattva.
Baik, jadi yang juga sifat yang mulia daripada dana yang dilakukan oleh seorang bodhisatta adalah beliau memastikan bahwa ketika beliau berdana, beliau melepaskannya secara total, tidak ada sisa kemelekatan sedikit pun atas dana yang diberikan tersebut. Jadi ada contoh satu kisah di mana seorang yang kaya raya itu kemudian punya kesempatan berdana kepada seorang Pacceka Buddha, memberikan dana makanan ya. Lalu tentunya ini adalah memberikan karma baik yang luar biasa besar, kesempatan yang amat baik. Tetapi kemudian beliau menyesali dana yang dilakukan ketika memberikan makanan kepada Pacceka Buddha. Beliau berpikir, aduh kalau aja dikasihkan ke karyawan-karyawan saya, mereka mungkin bisa lebih membalas dengan bekerja lebih baik, lebih keras, seperti itu ya, ada timbal baliknya. Sementara memberikan kepada pertapa ini nggak dapat balik apa-apa gitu. Sehingga ada penyesalan di sini yang kemudian mencemari tindakan baiknya ini, sehingga membuat di kemudian hari kekayaan dan kemewahan yang dimilikinya tidak bisa dinikmati secara utuh atau baik seperti itu. Nah, seorang bodhisatta ini memastikan bahwa ketika beliau memberikan dana, tidak ada sama sekali sisa-sisa kemelekatan atas dana tersebut. Dan juga Bante tadi sampaikan, kalau kita mau merefleksi melihat dari sisi penerima dana, ketika kita menerima dana dan kemudian mengetahui bahwa yang memberikan ini menyesali atau mengatakan, aduh saya nyesal memberikan ini kepada kamu, tentu si penerima akan memiliki rasa tidak nyaman, tidak enak dalam ketika mengetahui bahwa barang yang diberikan ini kemudian si pemberinya ada rasa penyesalan. Nah, ini akhirnya dua belah pihak, si pendana dan kemudian si penerima dana ini dalam situasi yang sama-sama tidak nyaman di sini. Nah, bodhisatta ini memastikan bahwa dengan tidak ada sama sekali sisa-sisa kemelekatan atas dana yang dilakukan, beliau merasa nyaman dan si penerima juga merasa nyaman.
So whenever he offers something to someone, he makes sure that the offering is not harmful to the receiver. That's another thing. Like he's very wise about, he considerates about this. So what could this leads towards? So is it very harmful to the person? For example, offering drinks, offering weapons to a child. So he's always considerate that what would be the effects of this offering to this person? What would he get by receiving this? So he makes sure that he doesn't offer anything that would harm the receiver. Maybe the receiver's sila, receiver's good qualities, his health, and his social relationships. So he makes sure that no harm would befall the receiver by his offering of making of his due to his donation. That's another admirable quality, because it shows that he's considerate about the receiver. He's not just giving the things to fulfill Pāramī. In order to become a real dana, the donor has to considerate about the receiver. That's very important. He's not just giving to fulfill his perfections. In order to be an actual perfection of dana, the donor has to considerate about the benefits the receiver is gaining by the donation.
Baik. Aspek lain yang sangat mulia daripada dana seorang Mahabodhisattva adalah ketika beliau mendanakan sesuatu, beliau tidak hanya memberikan, sekedar kasih, tetapi beliau juga considerate. Jadi beliau mempertimbangkan masak-masak baik buruknya dana yang diberikan ini, manfaatnya atau bahayanya kepada penerima dana. Misalnya beliau tidak akan memberikan dana minuman keras atau memberikan senjata ke anak-anak misalnya, yang mana akan memberikan efek yang tidak baik. Jadi ketika berdana, seorang bodhisattva itu akan mempertimbangkan masak-masak, kalau ini diberikan, apakah ini akan membawa kebaikan atau tidak bagi misalnya sila daripada si penerima, dampaknya terhadap hubungan sosial dan sebagainya macamnya. Jadi ini adalah bagian yang luar biasa daripada dana yang diberikan oleh seorang Mahabodhisattva. Dan ini menjadi satu penting bahwa berdana tidak sekedar berdana, tetapi juga perlu ada konsiderasi, perlu ada pertimbangan masak-masak dampak positif dan negatif daripada pemberian dana.
Another admirable quality is that he makes sure by his donation, the people who are related to his life are not hurt or not affected by it. For example, he would not offer the entire wealth while his children are there. It's obvious that children should inherit something from the father. So he'll make sure that his children would not suffer because of his offering. He'll make sure that his parents would not suffer because of offering. So he'd also not only the receiver, but he is considerate about the people around him as well, the ones who really love him, the ones who are related to him. So he makes sure that no one is affected by his donation. So his consideration extends not towards the receiver, but to all the people, to others as well. So this shows that his donation. Now the purpose of donating is to make someone happy or to bring some comfort to someone, and he makes sure that no one is harmed or affected by his donation. That's another admirable quality. So we also need to considerate when we are making donations that it should not be done in a way that your family is affected by that. So it should not be done in a way that it is detrimental to the receiver. So we have to be considerate about a wider scope or a range when we are making our donations and fulfilling our Pāramī.
Aspek lain yang sangat mulia daripada dana yang dilakukan oleh seorang bodhisattva adalah beliau juga tidak hanya mempertimbangkan sisi baik dan buruk dari dana ini kepada si penerima dana, tetapi juga memastikan bahwa pemberian dana ini tidak akan membawa keburukan bagi orang-orang terdekatnya. Misalnya dia tidak misalnya mendanakan ke seluruh kekayaan harta bendanya sementara beliau masih memiliki anak-anak atau orang tua yang menjadi tanggungannya. Ini akan membawa masalah atau membuat susah orang-orang di sekeliling beliau. Beliau akan memastikan bahwa dana yang dilakukan ini tidak hanya membawa kebaikan, kenyamanan bagi orang lain, tetapi juga membawa kebaikan, kenyamanan, kebahagiaan bagi orang-orang yang ada di sekelilingnya. Ini adalah aspek yang luar biasa.
Then another good aspect of his dana is, now sometimes we promise some people to offer certain things, like some valuable things, and when we are offering, we are giving something less valuable. This is not something admirable. If you have promised to offer something, some amount of money or something valuable, then we make sure that we keep our word, we keep our promise. But for example, if someone faces an economic crisis and is actually unable to offer the things as he promised, then it's not an issue. It's not a fault of the donor because he's unable to do that. But if someone promised and later on, due to greed, if we lessen the amount that we are supposed to offer, or which we promised to offer, which is not an admirable, because the receiver would have expectations. When we say that we are going to offer such a thing, person would have an expectation for sure. It's true that we are unable to fulfill all our promises. That's natural as human beings. But the Bodhisattva makes sure that whenever he promised to give something to someone, and he makes sure that he will offer that exactly as he has promised, which is a very highly admirable quality. It shows that his integrity, at the same time his consideration towards the receiver, because he knows that if we give a word that I'll be offering such and such, the person it's natural to the receiver to have an expectation. Whether out of greed or whatever, the expectation will come. Even happens to a monk. If someone says, I will be offering this and this, and we will be having our schedules or planning our life based on this expectation that he is going to offer such and such. Even we may reject another offering because we are expecting such thing to come. So keeping ourselves to the word that we have given is a very good admirable quality. It also falls under Satya Pāramī. And while giving, the bodhisattvas make sure that they will offer as they have promised. It's another very, very nice, highly commendable quality of the bodhisattva.
Jadi satu kualitas lagi yang luar biasa daripada seorang bodhisatta adalah beliau akan memberikan dana sesuai dengan apa yang dijanjikan. Ini terkadang sering terjadi, misalnya ada godaan-godaan ketika kita sudah menjanjikan dana dalam jumlah yang cukup besar, tetapi kemudian karena satu kemelekatan, keserakahan, kita kemudian berpikir menyesali janji tersebut dan kemudian memberikan lebih sedikit daripada yang kita janjikan. Ini tentu akan membawa efek yang besar kepada si penerima dana, di mana mungkin pada waktu dijanjikan beliau sudah membuat rencana-rencana sesuai dengan janji kita tadi, bahkan mungkin menolak dana atau bantuan dari pihak lain karena merasa bahwa toh sudah terpenuhi dengan janji tadi, kemudian pasti akan diterima di masa mendatang, tetapi kemudian tidak jadi diberikan sehingga membuat semua menjadi berantakan seperti itu. Nah, seorang bodhisattva memastikan bahwa setiap kali beliau menjanjikan, beliau akan memenuhi kewajibannya sesuai dengan janjinya tersebut. Jadi tidak ada over promise under deliver gitu ya, nggak ada janjinya tinggi tapi kemudian diberikannya dalam jumlah yang lebih sedikit.
Then what about the expectation through the donation? Sometimes people offer to become famous, to obtain a certain gain, to get some benefits from the society or from the receiver himself. So we may have some certain agendas, hidden agendas behind giving something to someone. which is not a very admirable quality. So bodhisattvas do not have such agendas behind their offering. So their only expectation is the omniscience, to become a Samma Sambuddha, to get the Sabbanyutta Jnana, and to liberate the beings from the cycle of rebirth. That's their main intention and objective. So they make sure that their all donation is aligned to this objective in almost every life. There can be lives that the bodhisattvas may have wished for something else because it's natural for every being to wish for pleasures. But in most of the lives, in most of the occasions, they make sure that their donations are directed towards the Samma Sambuddhahood. So that's their wish. So this having a wish to become a Samma Sambuddha is not an agenda, because it's something like, whenever you give something to someone, you are accumulating a good merit. That's natural. So out of the merit that you earn, you make a wish that may this merit be a supportive factor to be such and such person in future. That's not harming the person. That's not doing even the receiver would not feel anything bad. But for example, now we get to know that someone has offered us something, but his intention was to get the votes in the election, or to become famous in the society. So he had a different intention of offering this. So then we would feel like we would feel something strange. The receiver would feel something strange, because it was not his intention was not to serve the receiver. It was not given entirely out of loving kindness. So if you think from the receiver's perspective, you will feel there is something missing, and you cannot really admire that, and you cannot really enjoy the offering. So you will still have the gratitude towards the donor, but we know that there's something was wrong in it. But whether he wishes or not, he will accumulate a karma. That's natural, and then constructing an idea to become such and such due to the effects of that karma is something different. So bodhisattvas do not have hidden agendas behind their donations. They do not wish for any praise or gain in the present life, and even they extend it to a very admirable level of serving the others, because even they do not wish for their own liberation, not for their own attainment. What they wish is the omniscience, so they will be able to understand the entire phenomenon of the existence, cause and effects, and what is the path towards liberation, nibbana, and he'll be able to preach this to the entire world. So many beings would get out of this round of rebirth. So he gives donations without expectations or without any hidden agendas, only with the aim of attaining Samma Sambuddhahood.
Baik, aspek lain yang mulia daripada dana yang dilakukan oleh seorang Mahabodhisatta adalah beberapa orang mungkin melakukan dana dengan memiliki tujuan-tujuan tersembunyi baliknya. Seperti misalnya melakukan dana demi mendapatkan kepopularitasan, mendapatkan suara daripada masyarakat, kan seperti itu. Nah, bodhisattva itu ketika melakukan dana tidak memiliki agenda tersembunyi. Beliau semata-mata melakukannya demi tujuan memupuk parami dan mencapai menjadi seorang Samma Sambuddha. Beliau bahkan tidak memiliki keinginan untuk agar itu demi dirinya sendiri, misalnya demi pembebasan dirinya keluar daripada samsara sendiri, misalnya seperti itu. Tetapi beliau melakukannya semata-mata dengan cinta kasih, bahwa dengan mencapai pengetahuan yang sempurna, pencerahan sempurna, beliau dapat membabarkan dhamma dan bisa membawa kebaikan bagi banyak makhluk terbebas dari samsara ini. Dan jika kita lihat daripada sisi penerima dana ketika pemberi dana itu memiliki tujuan yang tersembunyi, maka si penerima dana ini tentu sedikit banyak bisa merasakan ya. Ada yang aneh, ada yang missing di sini, ada ketidaktulusan pada saat dana ini diberikan, dan akibatnya tentu si penerima dana tidak merasa nyaman dengan dana yang diberikan. Nah, seorang bodhisatwa ini karena tidak memiliki agenda tersembunyi apapun, bahkan tujuannya juga bukan untuk kebaikan dirinya sendiri, tetapi semata-mata agar kelak bisa membawa kebaikan bagi banyak makhluk, maka ini adalah salah satu sifat yang mulia daripada dana yang dilakukan oleh seorang maha bodhisattva.
So also they don't expect anything from the receiver, any repayment or any support from the receiver as a gesture of gratitude. Even when some beggars or ones who are asking for certain things may insult the donor. There are some very rare occasions that some beggars are not restrained and have some very low mental qualities, that they would even blame the donor for offering something, like they would demand things from the donor. There's a very psychologically very low quality of a human being, but some humans are like that. So even if the bodhisattva meets such a person, he would make sure that he thinks like this is a person who has come to serve me, because only when he's asking for things I'm able to give him, and that is the way to fulfill my paramis and to become a Samma Sambuddha. And one day I will be also, because I'll also be able to liberate this being or show him the path towards the liberation, because he knows that person is doing so due to the influence of defilement. Even we can come into that status if we let our defilements to control us. That's possible. Even Mahamoggallana, who was fulfilling his paramis and close to his attainment, killed his parents in a past life, and we know what happened to him in the last moments of his samsara. And he was the Mara of the first Buddha of this eon, Kakusanda Buddha. So things could happen, things could change because of the influence of defilements. So Bodhisattva, when he is encountering a person who is insulting him while receiving his own donation, would not get angry or upset about the person. He would still offer him like a father who offers or gives things to the child. So that is a very highly admirable quality for Bodhisattva. So he would make sure that the receiver is not hurt by any means due to his donations, not even psychological or mentally. Because psychological wise, it's also obvious that when a donor is giving something to the receiver, donor remains in a higher position over the receiver, because if the donor is giving the thing, because he has the right not to give if he wants, and the receiver is depending on the donor. So psychologically, the one who offers is in a higher position over the ones who receive. So it is very easy for the receiver, the donor, to demand things and to show his capacity, dominance over the receiver. But Bodhisattva makes it sure that such ideas, such feelings are not felt by the receiver. So he always treats the receiver as one of his very dear sons, because he considers the receiver as one of the receiver as the person who is helping him to attain his final goal of Samma Sambuddhahood. So it's all these aspects show that the Bodhisattva's main concern is the Buddhahood. The long-term concern is the Buddhahood, but the short-term concern is to make sure the receiver gets the best out of his donation. So he's providing him materially. At the same time, he makes sure that the person is not hurt by any means due to his donation. So it's a very, very, very admirable quality of the Bodhisattva. So we should take this example when we are offering even the slightest things to someone. So we make sure we should make it sure that we are not harming or insulting the person or even through a gesture, that we don't make them feel like you are inferior and you are getting something from us. So always you have to be kind to the beggar who is receiving from the other end.
Baik, jadi aspek lain yang sangat mulia daripada dana yang dilakukan oleh seorang bodhisatwa adalah pertama adalah ketika seorang melakukan dana sebagai seorang pendonor, secara psikologis biasanya kita merasa bahwa karena kita yang memberikan, kita berada dalam posisi yang lebih tinggi. Sedangkan si penerima ini adalah seorang yang membutuhkan, seorang yang bergantung, seorang yang memelas gitu ya, seperti itu, dalam posisi yang lemah, sehingga seolah-olah si pemberi ini punya superioritas, punya dominasi di atas daripada si penerima dana ini. Nah, seorang bodhisatta memastikan bahwa sifat kekotoran batin seperti ini tidak muncul sama sekali. Jadi bahkan ketika yang diberikan dana itu kemudian menghina atau kemudian sangat rewel sekali, sangat ya, tadi Bante bilang beberapa manusia yang punya karakter yang rendah memang bisa muncul seperti itu. Seorang bodhisatwa tidak terganggu dengan ini ya, bahkan kerewelan lalu penghinaan ini itu dianggap sebagai sesuatu yang apa ya, dia merasa bahwa ini adalah anaknya yang terkasihi, bahwa ini adalah bagaikan seorang guru yang sedang datang menolong beliau untuk memenuhi dana paraminya, sehingga beliau bisa mencapai tujuan menjadi seorang sama Sambuddha kelak. Maka beliau tetap memperlakukan orang-orang seperti ini dengan rendah hati, dengan kebaikan, dan ini adalah satu aspek yang luar biasa yang perlu kita teladani, kita ambil contoh ketika kita memberikan dana kepada seseorang. Kita memastikan bahwa kita tidak merendahkan ataupun memandang rendah si penerima dana kita, merasa kita lebih unggul, lebih superior, yang bisa menyakiti penerima dananya itu bahwa ketika melihat mungkin gerak-gerik kita, gesture kita seperti itu kita pastikan tidak terjadi, dan ini adalah suatu hal yang harus kita contoh dari seorang Mahabodhisatta.
Then when the Mahabodhisattva feels that he is having a lot of attachments towards something that he possesses, and if he feels that the attachment is growing, he's very much attached to something, then he feels like it's not good. It's not good to let this attachment grow. So it says, it is mentioned in books that he searches for people who are in need of them, such things. For example, if he feels that his attachment towards his mansion or towards his clothes, towards his money is increasing, intensifying, so he would search for someone who is in need of such things, and he makes sure that he gives them. So that's a very, very wonderful way of considering, because his main purpose of donating is to make his mind righteous. So he makes sure that the lobha or the greed would not dominate his mind. So if he feels like he's attached to something very strongly, and he makes sure to overcome it by donating things. And ironically, this happens most of the times it happens when there is no Buddha's teachings in the world, because it's very rare that we encounter era where the Buddha's teachings are prevailing. So bodhisattas in this regard have the capacity to understand the correct and wrong, and to distinguish them, and to purify their minds, and they feel like donating this would make me feel free from the attachment, and they go and offer the things, like it's not that someone has come to ask this from him. So he feels like I'm too much attached to this thing, and it's growing, and this is hurting me, or this destroys my peacefulness in the mind. So he searches for someone who is in need of that and offers this. This is a very highly admirable quality, which shows that he is someone who is special than us. So normally we would be ready to offer things only when someone is asking for that. But Bodhisattva, when he feels like he's attached to something, then he needs to get rid of this attachment. He searches for someone who is in need of it and offers this.
Aspek lain yang mulia daripada dana yang dilakukan oleh seorang bodhisatta adalah ketika beliau secara natural, karena masih dalam proses perjuangan, ketika beliau merasakan bahwa kemelekatannya akan sesuatu benda atau barang itu kemudian bertumbuh berkembang, beliau mampu mendeteksinya dan membedakan baik atau buruknya di sini. Ketika beliau merasa, wah ini saya sudah mulai memiliki kemelekatan yang tinggi akan katakanlah benda tertentu, pakaian, perhiasan, ataupun rumah, istana seperti itu. Beliau merasakan kemelekatannya meningkat di sana, beliau kemudian segera mencari seseorang yang membutuhkan benda-benda yang sedang membuat kilesanya itu bertumbuh tadi, sehingga beliau mencari seorang yang membutuhkan tersebut. Sehingga dalam hal ini tujuan daripada dana yang dilakukan beliau adalah tidak hanya memenuhi kebutuhan seseorang, tetapi juga melakukan ini untuk membersihkan pikirannya, batinnya daripada kilesa-kilesa yang bisa semakin subur bertumbuh. Ini menurut Bante biasanya terjadi justru di saat-saat masa di mana di dunia ini tidak ada ajaran seorang Buddha. Tetapi seorang Maha Bodhisatwa itu walaupun tidak ada ajaran Buddha mampu secara instingtif membedakan mana baik mana buruk. Sehingga beliau justru mencari seorang penerima dana untuk membuat batinnya bebas daripada kemelekatan. Karena beliau merasa ketika kemelekatan itu mulai timbul, maka ada gangguan daripada ketenangan batin atau ketenangan batinnya terganggu, terusik di sana. Sehingga kemudian daripada mengganggu ketenangan batin beliau lebih memilih untuk kemudian melepaskan benda-benda yang bisa menjadi memacu suburnya kekotoran batin beliau. Ini adalah satu aspek yang luar biasa daripada dana yang dilakukan oleh seorang sama Buddha.
So when he has he has enough wealth, he gives the receiver whatever he wants, like to the extent that would satisfy the receiver. If he has something less, he would give according to his capacity. And there are some occasions that when the Bodhisattva had something very little, like when he was the recluse Akitti, he had only few leaves for his meal. So when the beggar came, so when a Brahmin came asking for food, he just gave everything, all the leave that he had, and he remained hungry without eating the food, having any food for that day. So that kind of sacrifices he makes in his fulfillment of paramis. So it depends on the situation. Sometimes he may give things that to satisfy the receiver as he wants, because he has the wealth. Normally he's a rich person in samsara because of his more continuous frequent donations. And then if in case if he has less money, because that's possible in samsara when we are wandering here and there, so he may give according to the in proportionate to the amount that he has. And then sometimes when he has very little, something like leaves or only things that he just to sustain himself, then he would offer even that thing and remain, and he would get the burden, he would suffer himself while making the receiver happier. So his main purpose is to get the burden of the receiver of not having certain things to himself and to make the person happier. Why all this is done? In order to become a Buddha and to liberate the being, including the receiver himself. So his attitude towards dana is something beyond our level. That's why he becomes the supreme Buddha, and we go refuge under him. So, but we will not be able to practice our dana parami to that level, but we can get lots of good advices or examples example traits from Bodhisattva's practice and incorporate them or apply in them in our day-to-day dana parami.
Baik, tadi kita sudah membahas bahwa ketika seorang sama Buddha itu memiliki banyak kekayaan, menjadi seorang kaya di samsara ini, karena akumulasi karma baiknya yang begitu luar biasa, beliau bisa memiliki kekayaan yang besar, beliau akan memberikan sampai orang tersebut terpuaskan. Tapi ketika misalnya di dalam kondisi beliau itu tidak terlalu kaya, maka beliau akan memberikan secara proporsional berdasarkan apa yang beliau miliki. Nah, yang bahkan dalam perjalanan samsara, ketika beliau itu tidak atau memiliki sangat sedikit sekali, seperti misalnya beliau sedang menjadi seorang pertapa kirti tadi disebutkan oleh Bante, di mana beliau hanya memiliki beberapa daun untuk makan atau untuk kebutuhan beliau untuk makan. Tetapi ketika seorang Brahmana meminta beberapa daun tersebut, beliau juga memberikannya. Apa yang beliau miliki, beliau lepaskan demi kebaikan orang lain, walaupun beliau harus menderita di sini. Jadi ini adalah aspek yang luar biasa juga dari seorang bodhisatta, di mana bahkan ketika sedang tidak memiliki banyak benda, beliau mampu melepaskannya demi kebaikan si penerima. Semata-mata tujuannya adalah untuk memenuhi parami, mencapai kebudahan, dan kemudian bisa membebaskan banyak makhluk, termasuk si penerima dana tersebut. Ini adalah, mungkin kita tidak bisa melakukan perbuatan dana sampai ke level yang seperti ini, tetapi dengan mempelajari contoh-contoh dari yang dilakukan oleh seorang Mahabodhisatta, kita bisa mendapatkan ide, petunjuk, gambaran bagaimana seharusnya dana parami itu harus dilakukan.
So when he is offering his cattle, domesticated animals such as cow, goat, and so forth, he makes sure that those to offer to people who would not harm them, who would not slaughter them. Just he's offering them for others to for their own benefit only. But if he knows that the people would harm them or kill them and use them for meat, then the Bodhisattva would never offer them. So that's another. So he's now, while offering inanimate things like non-living things, his most concern is the receiver and also the other people who are related to him. While he's offering living livestock such as cow, cattle, and all these, he makes sure that the being is also not harmed by this donation. So he doesn't give to people. If he suspect that the person would slaughter them in the end, he would not offer them to such people.
Ketika memberikan benda-benda tidak bernyawa, tadi kita sudah dengar bahwa seorang bodhisattva akan memastikan bahwa benda yang diberikan ini akan membawa kebaikan dan bukan keburukan bagi si penerima maupun kepada orang-orang di sekeliling beliau. Ketika yang diberikan adalah benda bernyawa, misalnya ternak, apakah sapi, kuda, dan lain-lain yang bernyawa, beliau akan memastikan bahwa si penerima ini tidak akan menyakiti ternak yang diberikan ini. Jika beliau menduga bahwa makhluk ini akan disakiti, dijagal, dan sebagainya, maka beliau tidak akan memberikan dana tersebut. Seperti itu.
So when he's offering the children and the wife, this is something very controversial in today's, if you look into this from the today's perspective, it's a practice of a bodhisattva to offer his wife and the children in many lives. So it's mentioned in the books that when he's doing so, he offers them only after he is getting the consent from the wife and the children. If they reject the offering, them being offered, he will not offer them. Only if they feel, okay, if you want, if this is the only way to attain your omniscience, yeah, you are free to offer us. Only when they give the consent, he would do so. So we have to consider that this was a practice that was done in a male-dominant society in the ancient world. The man, the husband, the father is considered as the most prominent or the leader of the family. So he had the authority to the entire family was considered as some sort of property of him, like they are living under him. So it was considered that he could offer his children and wives to others. So in terms of today's, when we look into this from various angles, this may be highly challenged, this practice, but according to the Dhamma, Bodhisattva has to offer anything that he could offer. Anything that he could offer. So he may give his wife to someone else to become his wife or to some other purpose, but he makes sure that the person would not harm her. So she would have a better life, like good life, at least to some extent, due to this offering. And also offering children with the same objective. But it may happen that the person, the receiver, may cheat the Bodhisattva and later on do like harsh things to the children and the family and the wife. Then the Bodhisattva doesn't have any control over it, because according to the righteous custom of offering, after the donation is done, the gift belongs to the receiver. The donor has no right over the donation, so he cannot have any manipulation about the donation, or he cannot control it. He cannot demand how to use this. So therefore it has been a practice of every Bodhisattva to offer the wife and the children. Only when they give the consent, okay, you can offer us now. So because of this practice, like asking the consent from the wife and the children, it's very important for a Bodhisattva to have a wife who agrees with this custom, and children who agrees with this custom. So if the wife says no, wife is not because it shows that both of them, wife and the children, are also following his path. So that's why we see Yasodhara has been Bodhisattva's wife in many lives, because so the path towards Buddhahood, Bodhisattva is the one who is walking the path, but she is also supporting him. The greatest support that she would make is like letting her to be offered to someone else, because this is not a wife would never agree with the husband, because another thing to consider is the Bodhisattva is a very attractive person, and the wife would surely love him more than anyone else, and he is being admired by the entire society. Now that's the character of a Bodhisattva. He is a very good person, has a lot of admirable qualities, and he's a generous being, and he looks very attractive physically because of his Pāramīs. So surely the wife would be highly attached to the Bodhisattva. So now when he is offering this wife to someone else, so he has to tolerate the pain, and he has to live without her the entire life, and the wife also has to bear the pain of living without the person whom she actually loves, because attachment can happen, attraction, but love doesn't. We don't fall in love with anyone whom we see. It's a very special quality in the mind. It is an unwholesome quality in terms of Abhidhamma, but it doesn't happen to everyone. So there's a very special spark called love. So Bodhisattva's wife is highly attached to this person, but still she has to give the consent to the Bodhisattva to offer herself to someone else. So that's why it's very important for him to have such a wife. And our Bodhisattva had Yasodhara in this sense. At the same time, the children would never like to be apart from the parents. So in today's context, if they are under 18, we would not even consider their consent as something legitimate. But according to the ancient practices and the Bodhisattva's practice, if the children would say, even they are at a very young age, even they say, if you want to offer us, yes, you are very welcome to offer. Then the Bodhisattva could do that. So this is a very difficult practice, which is unique to the Bodhisattvas. I don't know. I haven't seen I don't think the Savakas would need to practice this kind of practice. Not sure about the two chief disciples, the foremost Savakas. I cannot give a guarantee on this, but normally other Savakas are not necessary to practice this custom. It's a very painful, very hard type of a dana to offer, but the Bodhisattva does it, and he makes sure that he offers them to someone who doesn't torture them and treat them well. He makes sure that he offers them to someone who treats them well, and only after when he gets the consent from the children and the spouse.
Jadi satu yang mulia juga daripada seorang praktik dana bodhisatwa dan bisa jadi cukup kontroversial untuk era sekarang adalah mendanakan istri dan anak-anak ya. Tetapi perlu digarisbawahi bahwa ini dilakukan hanya setelah mendapatkan persetujuan penuh dari istri dan anaknya. Jadi ini merupakan praktek yang unik di zaman dulu ya, di era di mana masyarakat itu laki-laki sangat dominan dalam struktur sosial, di mana seorang suami sebagai kepala rumah tangga itu menganggap bahwa istri dan anak-anaknya itu sebagai properti ya, sebagai kepemilikan. Di mana karena itu sifatnya adalah properti kepemilikan, maka ini bagaikan benda yang bisa diberikan, didanakan seperti itu ya. Tetapi dalam hal ini seorang bodhisatwa tidak asal mendanakan saja, memberikan istri anak, tetapi juga pertama-tama beliau perlu persetujuan penuh daripada istri dan anak-anaknya. Dan ini menunjukkan bahwa istri dan anak-anaknya juga meyakini jalan yang sama dengan seorang bodhisatta ini sendiri. Karena seperti kita lihat misalnya, Yosidara itu di masa akhir menjadi seorang istri daripada Siddhartha, itu juga di masa lalunya merupakan istri daripada Bodhisatta juga, dan beliau juga dulu menyetujui untuk didanakan gitu ya. Tentunya ini satu hal yang sulit karena Bodhisatta juga mencintai istrinya, dan juga istrinya juga mencintai Bodhisatta yang tentunya suami yang baik, yang luar biasa, yang ganteng, ya punya penampilan fisik yang menarik. Tentunya perpisahan ini menyakitkan bagi kedua belah pihak ya, karena tentunya saling mencintai, tetapi ini adalah tantangan yang besar bagi kedua belah pihak untuk mampu melepaskan hal yang paling dicintai, yang paling dikasihi. Dan tentunya ini akan cukup menyakitkan dan merupakan praktek yang menantang ya, yang cukup challenging seperti itu. Yang pertama itu harus mendapatkan persetujuan penuh. Yang kedua adalah beliau akan memastikan bahwa istri dan anaknya yang didanakan ini tidak akan disakiti di kemudian hari oleh si penerima, bahkan mungkin akan dirawat dengan baik dan bahkan memiliki kehidupan yang lebih baik lagi seperti itu. Tetapi tentunya jika kemudian pihak yang menerima ini mengingkari janjinya dan kemudian memperlakukan dengan buruk, sayangnya memang ya seperti barang yang sudah didanakan menjadi hak daripada si penerimanya. Dalam hal ini bodhisattva tidak bisa mengotak-atik ya, tidak bisa melakukan apapun setelah ini didanakan seperti itu. Bante sampaikan tadi ini adalah suatu praktek yang unik bagi seorang Mahabodhisatta untuk mencapai sama Sambuddha. Bante merasa bahwa bahkan untuk level Sawaka ini tidak dilakukan, bahkan mungkin untuk level 2 siswa utama ya, ini juga tampaknya tidak dilakukan. Ini adalah satu praktek yang memang sangat menyakitkan, sangat berat, menantang, tetapi tampaknya ini dilakukan oleh hampir semua bodhisatta. Tapi dengan catatan tadi, dua catatan. Pertama adalah mendapatkan persetujuan penuh daripada istri dan anak, dan kedua memastikan bahwa mereka memiliki kehidupan yang baik setelah didanakan.
So whenever he is offering the kingdom, which is also a very hard thing to offer, because kingdom is the ultimate power that you have. So when you own a kingdom, it means becoming a king. The kingdom is the king's property according to dictatorship, and he's giving it to someone else. So normally we know that how attractive the power is. Beings do all the corrupt, like all the bad stuff in order to come into power, and you to remain in power. I think anyone would know this, like how much power can corrupt a person. So when the Bodhisattva, and in kingship is the ultimate power that you can have over a kingdom. Like king is a dictator. He's the sole ruler of the country. So it's not like being a president or a prime minister in a democratic country. So when the Bodhisattva sits on the throne as the king, there are many occasions that he donated his kingdom to others. He offered it to others. So and also he makes sure that whenever he's offering it, the receiver, the new king, would not torture the citizens. If he's confident that this person can righteously control the country and he has the capability or capacity to rule the country, only then he would offer this kingdom to him. So, but it is a very, very hard thing to offer. So the kingship, because we know sometimes sons kill father to become the king. Sometimes they kill parents. Fathers king sons to remain in the throne. So power is something which is very attractive, and people do various strange stuff in order to come into power and to remain in the power. But this great man, the Bodhisattva, when he is having that power, he sometimes offer it to others. And it has been in numerous occasions that he offered the kingship or kingdom to others. And he makes sure that when he is offering this kingdom, because it encompasses a huge amount of people, the entire citizens, so he makes sure that he's offering it to someone who can control or rule the country righteously without harming the others, harming the citizens.
Baik, hal lain yang luar biasa daripada seorang bodhisattva adalah mendanakan kerajaannya. Ini biasanya menjadi duduk di tahta sebagai seorang raja, ini artinya pada era itu adalah memiliki kekuasaan mutlak ya. Ini beda dengan zaman sekarang, dengan era demokrasi segala beda. Tapi zaman itu menjadi seorang raja artinya Anda memiliki kekuasaan mutlak atas semua yang ada di lingkungan kerajaan Anda, seperti itu. Dan ini tentunya menarik banyak orang ya, karena kita tahu bahwa kekuasaan itu sangat menarik sekali. Bahkan di era sekarang orang berebut untuk bisa memperoleh kekuasaan. Seorang anak bisa membunuh orang tuanya untuk bisa mendapatkan tahta, dan juga bagaimana orang melakukan banyak hal yang kejam kadang-kadang untuk bisa tetap berkuasa gitu ya. Seorang ayah bisa membunuh anaknya atau membunuh musuh-musuhnya dengan kejam hanya untuk bisa mempertahankan kekuasaannya. Maka tahta kerajaan ini menjadi cermin daripada kekuasaan tunggal ya, menjadi penguasa tunggal, menjadi kekuasaan yang ultimate, yang tertinggi. Nah, ketika seorang bodhisattva mampu mendanakan kekuasaan yang absolut seperti ini tentunya suatu praktek yang cukup menantang, yang tidak semua orang bisa ya. Beliau tentunya cukup menyakitkan, tetapi beliau mampu melepaskan tahtanya kepada orang lain seperti itu. Tentunya sebelum melepaskan tahtanya, beliau memastikan bahwa si penerima atau raja yang baru ini adalah seorang yang memang bijaksana, seorang yang baik, yang tidak akan menyakiti rakyatnya, dan juga seorang yang capable ya, mampu, memiliki kapasitas untuk memerintah dengan baik seperti itu. Jadi ini adalah satu aspek yang luar biasa yang dilakukan oleh seorang bodhisattva.
And finally, when he is offering his body parts, he makes sure that they are offered to someone who is actually in need of them. He doesn't offer it to people who are not in need of them, because it's a waste of thing, because it's something very precious to yourself. When Bodhisattva needs them, in order to live, because unless you live, you are not able to fulfill Pāramī unless you live. So he makes sure that he gives them only to the people who are in need of them and who can get use out of it. Maybe they would need it to quench their thirst or subdue their hunger, but still it's a use for the receiver. If they can implant the organs like the eyes and all these, then he would still offer them. So likewise, even it says that he offers the heart to someone who is in need of them, maybe as a food, but in these days it can be implanted into someone. So there's if someone is in need of any body part, that's the nature of a bodhisattva to offer. Sometimes he offers hands, legs to beings who are in need of flesh and all, or maybe to implant them into others' bodies. So this is a very difficult donation to be made, because sometimes one may feel like offering children and spouse is also something very difficult. Yes, because it's related to our emotions, but offering body parts is something far beyond difficult than that, because we have to live with the body that after without this body part that is being offered. So spouse or children, even they are with us, emotionally we are bound to them, we may miss them, but it's our life. We are not going to live with them all the 24 hours, 335 days with them, even they are with us. But you have to live with the body the entire life, right? As long as you live with, that's the body that you are going to possess. So if some parts are missing, that is going to affect the entire life of the person. So offering body parts is far more difficult than offering something external. So bodhisattvas do it, but they make sure that they don't offer it to someone who is coming to harm them. They make sure that if someone is asking body parts out of insanity or out of mere foolishness, no, he would not give them. Only he feels that the person is in need of them, then only he would offer the body parts. So he's also wise in that. He makes sure that because he knows he's losing something very valuable to himself, because he could fulfill some other paramis if he had the body parts. Easily he could have supported others, helped others, and so forth. So therefore he makes sure that the body part will be taken benefits of, then and he doesn't offer them to people who actually are not in need of them. And then the final type of ajjatika dana, internal offering, is becoming a slave of others. Slavery is prohibited in the world these days, but those days the slave was known as dasa. So becoming a slave means your entire life belongs to the master afterwards. So you have to work for him. So you cannot demand for wages and so forth, because being a slave is not being an employee. It's completely different. So bodhisattva in some lives has become a slave of others and worked the entire life for the benefit of other beings, or for the master. So these are the two types of internal offerings the bodhisattva makes. I'll elaborate that much larger in our future topics, because these donations of internal organs and sacrificing yourself to become a slave of someone else is far beyond the range of a normal being. So we need to elaborate it more, and also it shows the greatness of a bodhisattva. So this would be the top discussion, because the time is elapsing, because I also have to give a Dhamma talk in another 1 hour. So we'll go to the Q&A session after this. So the talk was about the few types of donations based on the objects that are offered, the things that are offered. So we talked about the external and internal offerings in Ajjatika and Bahira. So next day I'll go into talk about the 4 types of offering based on Vinaya, 10 types of offerings based on Suttanta, and 6 types of offering based on Abhidhamma. So today we conclude this talk with this.
Baik, juga yang dilakukan luar biasa oleh seorang Mahabodhisattva adalah mendanakan anggota tubuhnya. Ini tentunya suatu dana yang sulit, karena bayangkan setelah itu didanakan, maka Bodhisattva harus hidup, menjalani sisa hidupnya tanpa anggota tubuh yang didanakan tadi. Tentunya ini dilakukan bukan sembarangan. Beliau memastikan bahwa orang yang meminta atau mendapatkan anggota tubuhnya ini memang betul-betul membutuhkan. Jadi bukan cuma minta karena sembarangan atau karena gangguan jiwa atau karena suatu kebodohan, tetapi memang betul-betul diyakini akan bermanfaat bagi si penerimanya. Eh, Dia akan memastikan dalam kisah-kisah kita lihat bahwa yang mulia Bodhisatta itu mendanakan mata, mendanakan jantung misalnya. Mungkin di era sekarang transplantasi gitu ya, ya itu dilakukan. Juga mendanakan tangan dan kaki misalnya seperti itu dilakukan. Ini adalah dana yang praktik dana yang cukup yang sulit ya, menantang dan sulit karena tentunya kita berpikir mendanakan istri dan anak itu juga sulit, tetapi itu sulit dari level emosional ya, ikatan emosional di mana rasa keterpisahan ini tentu akan menyiksa di batin. Tetapi mendanakan anggota tubuh berarti bahwa dia harus hidup menjalani sisa hidupnya tanpa anggota badan yang sama seperti itu. Dan juga menjadi tantangan juga bahwa jika dia tidak diberikan toh dia bisa memenuhi parami yang lain misalnya seperti itu. Jadi memang level pertimbangannya di sini menjadi sesuatu yang menjadi suatu hal yang sangat menentukan untuk pendanaan anggota tubuh ini. Juga dalam sisi lain, dana yang dilakukan oleh seorang Mahabodhisatta adalah menjadi budak. Tentunya kita tahu perbudakan di era modern sekarang sudah dilarang ya, tapi suatu hal yang umum di era dulu, di mana menjadi seorang budak artinya harus mengabdi pada majikannya seumur hidup, bekerja seumur hidup tanpa ada bayaran, tanpa ada macam-macam ya. Betul-betul mengabdi seumur hidup, menjalani tugas bekerja pada majikannya. Nah, ini adalah kedua dana ini karena ini adalah topik yang cukup dalam dan sulit bahkan untuk dilakukan. Bante akan membabarkannya lebih lanjut, lebih dalam di sesi-sesi selanjutnya. Juga Bante, kita pada saat ini sudah membahas cukup detail dana dari aspek objeknya, internal dan eksternal, bahira dan ajatika. Di kesempatan mendatang, Bante akan menguraikan lebih jauh tentang 4 macam dana berdasarkan Winaya, 10 macam berdasarkan Sutanta, dan 6 macam berdasarkan Abhidhamma. Tetapi untuk kesempatan ini, ya inilah akhir dari sesi ini. Kita akan melanjutkan kepada sesi tanya-jawab.
Wandami
Done.
Bante.
Video dekda.
Wandami Bante. My name is Viryani and I will guide the Q&A session. Sahabat Dhamma, silahkan bertanya langsung via Zoom dengan klik raise hand atau melalui kolom chat. Right now, actually there is 4 questions, Bante. Okay. The first one from no name. Wandami Bhante, the Bodhisatta would always consider the receiver attitude towards the dana, making sure that the receiver will take care of it. But when the Bodhisatta gave his wife and children to the Brahmana Jatila, he knows that the Brahmana would abuse them. What is Bhante perspective towards this? Anumodami Bhante. Wandami Bhante, Bodhisatta akan selalu mengkontemplasikan sikap penerima terhadap dana, memastikan bahwa penerima akan menjaga dana tersebut. Akan tetapi, saat Bodhisatta mendanakan istri dan anaknya kepada Brahmana Jatila, beliau tahu bahwa Brahmana tersebut akan menganiaya mereka. Bagaimana pandangan Bante terhadap ini? Anumodami Bante.
Yeah, thank you for your question. It's normally the Bodhisatta, as it is mentioned in the books, that he would not give them to someone who would torture them or abuse them. The Vesantara story, as I remember, the Jujaka was very nice to the Bodhisatta and he talked with him very nicely and they had a cordial discussion with him, and also he made sure that if and also he made a price that if someone wants to save them means buy them, they have to pay this and this amount to the Jujaka. So I'm unable to give an exact answer for this, because now one can argue that the Bodhisattva, being such a wise person, would have easily guessed the Jujaka's character. I don't know whether he was able to do that, or he did that on that occasion, because he was not a Buddha by then. He was a Bodhisattva, though it was his last life as a human being before being Siddhartha. So according to the story, Jujaka came and asked, like he pleasantly talked with him, and he said that I'm old and my wife is old, so we need someone to help us. So he never requested that I'm going to treat them this and this. So maybe the Bodhisattva had a consideration that they would treat them well. So if he knew that after the offering was made, while he's taking them, surely he tortured them, and then both of them came and asked, look to whom you have offered us, and he seems like a demon who is going to take us and eat. Then the Bodhisattva felt, now they are not in my possession, because I have already offered them. The earth shook and the Pāramī was completed. So I don't think the Bodhisattva was fully aware of what was going to happen, and he didn't have the psychic powers to read his mind even. Vasantara didn't have jhanas actually. He was practicing as an ascetic only. So then one can easily argue, couldn't he read the gestures and the body language of the person? I'm unable to give you an exact answer for this. I can relate another story of another Bodhisattva. Such an incident was recorded about Buddha Bodhisattva Mangala. Mangala was, he appeared long time before Buddha. Mangala Sumantra was also like few asankhya years before. So when Mangala Bodhisattva, like our Mahavesantara in the last human life before becoming a Buddha, he offered the children to a man who came asked for them, because every Bodhisattva has to fulfill this Pāramī before, in the last life as a human being before becoming a Buddha. So that's a law of nature. So Mangala Bodhisattva offered his children to a man, but unfortunately it happened to be that that person was a demon, as the story goes. So he offered him, and he was walking up and down, pacing, contemplating his dana. So he walked to that side, because when he offers, he doesn't even look at them. Like when offering is done, it's done. So before the offering, all the considerations has to be done. That's the nature of a great man. So before the offering, he would consider whether the person would treat them well or not, and get the consent from the children and the wife, spouse, and then when he has offered them, afterwards he loses the ownership. Then he doesn't go into manipulate or talk with them. That's the nature of Bodhisattva. It's the character of them, because he considers dinnan so dinna, what is given is given. So I don't have any authority now, and the children also gave the consent to offer them. So then when he reached the one side of the walking path, and when he just turned, he saw the man change into the figure of a demon and was eating his children alive. That was a very heartbreaking moment to any father, but the commentary says, the Bodhisattva didn't have the slightest thought or anger towards the demon that this person cheated me, because he thought it's a human. He didn't know that this was a demon. If he knew he was a demon, he would never give it, because it's amount to killing, right? Because you can offer someone to someone who is going to kill them. So it amounts to dana, actually it amounts for killing if he purposefully offered them. So it's I would say it's bordering killing. So says that the Bodhisattva didn't have the slightest thought of regret about the offering, because he gave it with a confident, pure mind, and the receiver, he would have got the results of cheating a Bodhisattva and eating the beings alive. So, and then he thought, while like this children's blood was flowing, it was not a happy ending like Vesantara's story, Vesantara story was a very happy ending. Everyone got together and it had a happy ending. But the Mangala Bodhisattva story was not so, and children were eaten. I don't know how the wife would have reacted to that. I don't know. Maybe because she was also someone who is following him, and she would have also tolerated it because she would have been the Yasodhara of that Bodhisattva. So so there is such an incident recorded. Then he thought, seeing this blood flowing, as this blood flows, may I be able to lighten 10,000 world cycles whenever I become the Buddha. So it says that his rays were spreading into 10,000 world cycles. So from the day he became the Buddha. So after his rays start to emit. Then yes, so it is mentioned in the commentaries that a Bodhisattva would not give them to someone who would torture them or abuse them. But the Vesantara story, one can easily argue that Bodhisattva would have guessed it, but as the story goes, to my memory, Jujaka came to him and talked very nicely, very pleasantly, and he showed his inability to live alone because of his oldness, and the wife's inability to, both of them were very old, so we need some help from someone, so please offer your children. So surely he would have said that I would treat them well. That's how normally, obviously, when you are asking for someone like children, you would say, I would treat them this and this, and even when you are asking for a servant from someone, from parents, a child, in some countries, they would never say, I will do this and this. So Bodhisattva would have fallen into the trap, maybe. I'm unable to give you exact answer to this, but it's mentioned in the books that obviously, as being a very nice human being, he would never offer his children and wife to someone who would abuse them or like torture them.
Baik, jadi ini topik yang cukup menantang ya. Bante juga tidak bisa memberikan jawaban yang pasti tentang ini, tetapi kita tahu dari kitab komentar bahwa yang jelas seorang bodhisatwa akan melakukan penelaahan awal terlebih dahulu sampai kemudian beliau mendapatkan cukup kepastian bahwa anak dan istri yang didanakan tidak akan mendapatkan kehidupan yang buruk atau disakiti setelah proses pendanaan ini. Tetapi memang dalam Wesantara Jataka kita tahu apa yang terjadi. Dalam hal ini kita bisa berargumen ini dan itu, bagaimana kalau ya kita bisa berandai-andai gitu ya. Apakah kemudian bodhisatta memang mengetahui atau tidak mengetahui, kita bisa berargumen di situ. Apakah beliau kok sebagai bodhisatta tidak bisa membaca gestur, tidak bisa membaca pikiran, atau bisa membaca pikiran? Nah, ini menjadi topik debat yang menarik, tapi kita ini kan sifatnya hanya argumentasi berandai-andai gitu ya. Tapi Bante mau bilang bahwa dalam Wesantara Jataka paling enggak ceritanya masih happy ending tadi kata Bante ya. Di akhir masih happy ending. Ada yang lebih bisa menjadi contoh yang lebih menantang gitu ya, yaitu tentang kisah Bodhisatta Manggala ya, Bodhisatta Manggala. Bodhisatta Manggala ini mendanakan anak-anaknya kepada seorang yang minta dana, dan ternyata ini adalah siluman ya, istilahnya apa, iblis ya, demon, siluman gitu ya. Ternyata beliau adalah siluman, dan kemudian tepat ketika itu didanakan, ketika beliau sudah berjalan meninggalkan anak-anaknya, ketika menengok ke belakang, ternyata iblis ini, siluman ini sedang memangsa anak-anaknya gitu ya. Nah, ini tentu lebih menantang lagi gitu ya. Jadi kalau tadi masih happy end, ini nggak happy end sama sekali gitu. Dimakan di depan beliau dan istrinya. Tetapi Bante sampaikan tadi, menurut kitab komentar dikatakan bahwa pada detik itu tidak ada rasa penyesalan atau sedikit pun regrets daripada Yang Mulia Bodhisatta. Bahkan ketika beliau melihat darah yang mengucur dari anak-anaknya, beliau kemudian melakukan aspirasi bahwa semoga dengan kucuran darah ini kelak saya bisa menerangi 10.000 tata surya seperti itu. Semoga saya bisa membabarkan dhamma yang bisa menerangi, menunjukkan jalan bagi 10.000 tata surya. Karena ini adalah pengorbanan yang besar sekali gitu ya. Beliau kemudian melakukan aspirasinya. Beliau tetap tenang seimbang mungkin karena beliau tahu bahwa toh iblis ini atau siluman ini akan mendapatkan karma buruknya nanti gitu kan. Ada harganya ketika Anda membohongi seorang bodhisatta kemudian memangsa anak seorang bodhisatta, itu urusannya lain lagi. Itu adalah urusan daripada si siluman itu. Tetapi dari sisi si bodhisatta, praktik parami yang dilakukan sudah terpenuhi. Dan beliau kemudian mendedikasikan ini agar semoga pengorbanan yang besar ini terbayarkan tanda kutip dengan bahwa saya kemudian bisa memberikan petunjuk dhamma yang menerangi 10.000 tata surya. Nah, itu adalah tanda kutip adalah yang dilakukan oleh bodhisatta. Nah, dalam kasus Vesantara Jataka memang kan kemudian dalam tanda kutip bodhisatta itu didatangi baik-baik gitu ya, dikatakan bahwa saya sudah tua, istri saya sudah tua, kami membutuhkan seseorang untuk mendampingi kami gitu ya. Dan kemudian bodhisatta mempercayai dan kemudian menyerahkan anak dan istrinya di sini gitu ya. Nah, ini memang topik yang cukup sulit, praktek yang sulit, tapi memang praktek yang dilakukan oleh semua bodhisatta di akhir kehidupan terakhirnya sebagai manusia sebelum mencapai penerangan sempurna. Ya, kita tidak ada jawaban yang pasti di sini, berandai-andai, berargumen nggak ada habisnya bisa. Tetapi yang jelas bahwa menurut kitab komentar beliau sudah melakukan penilaian terbaik sebelum melakukan dana ini. Seperti itu.
Dami Bante for the young. Should we next to another question, Bante? Wandami Bante.
Gandhi.
Wandami Bante, should we next to another?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Actually, it's my question, Wandami Bante. If we learn about the karma, we know that if we do dana, we definitely get the good result or become richer. I do the dana, I aspire the dana for the supporting conditions to attain nirvana, but also knowing that we will get good result from the dana. With this kind of mind, will the dana be influenced and the aspiration be influenced? Anumodami Bante. Wandami Bante, apabila kita mempelajari tentang karma, kita tahu bahwa apabila kita berdana, kita akan mendapatkan yang baik atau mendapatkan kekayaan. Saat saya berdana, saya beraspirasi semoga dana ini akan mengkondisikan untuk mencapai nibbana. Tetapi juga mengetahui bahwa saya akan mendapatkan hal yang baik dari perbuatan tersebut. Dengan pikiran seperti ini, apakah dana ini akan terpengaruh dan aspirasi saya terpengaruh? Anumodami Bante.
So I want to clarify the question first, like what kind of influence, what you meaning? Like will it be influencing like supporting factor to Nibbana or?
Yeah, I'm afraid that my aspiration to the Nibbana will be not go for the Nibbana, but for the become rich or for the good result, Bante.
Just by knowing it, you mean? Is it?
Yeah, just by knowing that we know the right, like the karma and the vipaka, we know about the dana, but while we do the dana, also aspire like Nibbanasa Pachaya Hotu, right? So that's what my mind was, Bante.
Like for example, if you are going from, for example, this place to this place, there is a city in between. While you are going to this city, you know that you are going to pass this city, right? So it's obvious that if you are traveling from here to here, so you have to pass here. So that knowledge is not going to hinder your journey to this place. But if you are aspiring only to reach here, yes, then you are not going to reach there. So when someone is making donations, if he is aspiring to attain the Nibbana, surely even though he will be getting worldly benefits out of dana, he will surely attain this. So there are instances like some would aspire, I want to be this and also this. I want to first go and spend some time here and to attain here. So even that would also suffice as a Pāramī. But the highest form of Pāramī is if only someone just aspires for the Nibbana. There is a story about two brothers aspiring in two different ways that happened before the Buddha Vipassi appeared in the world. Two brothers were sharing one sugarcane plantation, and the younger brother went to pluck two sugar canes for himself and for the elder brother. So when he cut them and he brought, while he was coming, he met a Pacceka Buddha. Then he offered his sugar cane and he wished to attain all the luxuries in the world and enjoy them and finally detach from them and attain Nibbana. So it was a very big wish. So he wanted to enjoy the luxuries, pleasures in samsara and finally attain the Nibbana. Then he thought, I would offer because the Pacceka Buddha had it, because Pacceka Buddha was ready to take that sugarcane juice to someone else. So then he said, no, you have it. Then he offered the elder brother sugarcane as well. Then he thought, if the elder brother asks for money, I will give him the money. If he asks for merit, I will share the merit with him. So then he came to the house and said to the elder brother, I met such a great person and I offered my sugarcane and also offered your sugarcane. If you want money, you can ask for money. If you want the merit, you can ask for merit. Then he said, no, I just want the merit. And he wished, by this merit, may I be able to attain the liberation that recluse or Pacceka Buddha had attained. He didn't wish for any sensual pleasures. Then the story goes that both of them were born in the kingdom of Hansavati when the Vipassi Buddha appeared. And due to his direct aspiration to become an arahant and end the suffering, the elder brother was able to listen to the Dhamma talk. Both listened to the Dhamma talks of the Buddha. The elder brother was able to renounce the household life and become a monk and attain arahantship and ended the samsara. The younger brother, due to his strong attachment to sensual, because he aspired to enjoy the sensual pleasures, that became a strong condition for him to stick to the sensual pleasure, and he could not give up the household life, and he remained as a layperson. And this, he was unable to get liberated in 7 Buddha sasanas from Vipassi till our Gautam Buddha. And in the last life, in the Gautam Buddha sasana, he renounced the household life and became Arahant. He was known as the very famous rich guy Jyotiya. So according to Jyotiya's story, if someone wishes to enjoy the luxuries and to attain Nibbana, that could delay their path, journey towards Nibbana, but still it can be a condition. So there's nothing to say. Knowing that it is going to give results is a samma ditti, that is not going to hinder your attainment. Not at all. That would make it more powerful because you are aware of the karma and vipaka phenomenon. It makes it more wise, like jnana sampayutta karma.
Bu Iriani mau jelaskan sendiri karena ini pertanyaannya sendiri atau gimana?
It's better you translate, Adhyans.
Oke.
Tadi boleh tolong bantu translate.
Oke. Menurut Bante tidak sama sekali ya, tidak akan mengganggu sama sekali ketika Anda memahami cara teori cara bekerja karma dan kemudian memahami bahwa oh, saya beraspirasi nibbana, tetapi juga saya tahu bahwa karma baik ini bisa mendatangkan kondisi-kondisi kehidupan duniawi yang baik. Ini tidak akan mengganggu sama sekali. Bahkan menurut Bante tadi ini bisa memperkuat ya, karena menjadi jnana sampayutang ya, batin yang dimiliki, yang berasosiasi dengan kebijaksanaan atau pengetahuan yang baik. Ini tidak mengganggu sama sekali. Karena kekayaan tadi istilahnya, kekayaan atau kenikmatan duniawi itu cuma bagian dari perantara aja, cuma sementara, cuma bagian di tengah-tengah dari kehidupan aja. Selama Anda memang kokoh menaspirasikan untuk nibbana, ya Anda tetap akan menuju ke sana. Walaupun ini cuma bonus-bonus aja gitu ya, cuma bonus-bonus yang kalau memang Anda tidak beraspirasi untuk kekayaan, ya tidak akan mengganggu aspirasi utama Anda gitu ya, seperti itu. Tapi bisa juga menjadi mengganggu kalau contohnya seperti yang diberikan contoh oleh Bante tadi adalah dua bersaudara di era sebelum Yang Mulia Buddha Wipasi ya. Mereka adalah dua bersaudara yang si adiknya ini sedang melakukan panen tebu ya, panen tebu milik dua lahan tebu, satu milik belia, satu milik kakaknya gitu ya, sedang panen tebu. Lalu pada saat itu lewatlah seorang Paceka Buddha dan beliau ini mendanakan panen tebu milik dia. Lalu kemudian atas panen ini beliau beraspirasi semoga dengan dana tebu ini saya bisa menikmati kemewahan duniawi. Nah, memiliki kenikmatan duniawi, jadi orang kaya, dan kemudian mencapai nibbana kelak. Nah, jadi ini aspirasinya dua ya, pengen hidup kaya raya dan kemudian juga mencapai nibbana kelak. Lalu ketika Yang Mulia Paceka Buddha ini mau berlalu, beliau ingat, oh ini kan masih ada panen milik kakak saya gitu ya. Lalu kemudian dia mendanakan juga panenan milik kakaknya kepada Paceka Buddha tersebut. Beliau kemudian menemui kakaknya, ditanya, mana panen tebunya? Oh, tadi saya kasih ke Paceka Buddha. Jika memang saya harus bayarkan panennya, ya saya akan bayar milik Anda. Atau jika Anda ingin eh, pahalanya atau karma baiknya, saya akan membagikan pahalanya. Seperti itu. Lalu kakaknya bilang, oh udah nggak usah bayar gitu kan. Saya semoga dengan dana yang diberikan tadi bisa memkondisikan saya mencapai pencerahan seperti yang dicapai oleh Paceka Buddha tersebut gitu. Maka ketika waktu berlalu dan tiba di era Buddha Wipasi, kedua bersaudara ini di kehidupan selanjutnya kemudian mendengarkan khotbah Dhamma daripada Yang Mulia Buddha Wipasi. Nah, si kakak yang memang hanya mengharapkan pencerahan seperti Paceka Buddha tadi, begitu mendengarkan khotbah Dhamma, kemudian langsung tercerahkan mencapai kearahatan ya dalam periode yang sama. Tetapi si adik yang tadi masih kemelekatannya ingin jadi orang kaya seperti itu ya, dia tidak mampu kemudian mencapai pencerahan di era Buddha Wipasi. Tidak mampu mencapai pencerahan di era Buddha Wipasi, tetapi selama 7 Buddha Sasana beliau ya tercapai aspirasinya jadi orang kaya terus gitu ya, tercapai menjadi orang kaya terus, termasuk di era Buddha Gautama ya, kalau nggak salah tadi Bante, era Buddha Gautama beliau dikenal sebagai seorang kaya bernama Jotiya ya, jadi Jotiya. Nah, baru di era inilah setelah 7 kali Buddha Sasana barulah mampu mencapai pencerahan seperti itu. Jadi aspirasi yang memang karena kemelekatan kuat ini bisa menghalangi hanya kalau dalam posisi seperti ini. Tapi kalau enggak, ya enggak seperti itu. Mudah-mudahan cocok ya Bu Wiryani, kalau ada kekurangan, kesalahan mohon tambahin.
Terima kasih Anumodami Bante, terima kasih Brother Adi atas translation-nya. So actually there is still 4 question. Should we maybe
Because
be
I'm
answered?
sorry for it, because I'll be having another 2-hour Dhamma talk in half an hour. So I feel like better to we can keep them for the next session. Yeah.
Yes.
If you can keep them recorded, and I will answer them next session.
Oke, Anumodami Bante. Sahabat Dhamma, demikianlah akhir dari sesi tanya jawab. Sisa pertanyaan yang tidak terjawab akan kita tanyakan pada sesi selanjutnya oleh Bante Watagoda Maggavihā. Terima kasih atas partisipasinya. Sister Sania, silakan.
Sahabat Dhamma yang berbahagia, mari kita semua bersikap anjali. Dengan segala kerendahan hati, mari kita memohon maaf kepada Bante atas kesalahan yang pernah kita lakukan, baik melalui pikiran, ucapan, dan perbuatan sebelum dan selama acara malam ini berlangsung. Bhante, if we have done something wrong in the past and present, whether intentionally or unintentionally, through actions of our body, speech, or mind, may we sincerely, humbly, and respectfully ask for Bhante's forgiveness. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sahabat Dhamma, mari kita limpahkan jasa kebajikan yang telah kita lakukan dengan pelimpahan jasa yang akan dibimbing oleh Bhikkhu Watagoda Maggavihā. Mari kita semua bersikap anjali. Bhante, we would like Bhante to please guide us for the sharing merits and aspiration recitations.
Okay, so we talked about Dana Pāramī today, and with this merit, may all of us be able to attain the supreme bliss and get more Dhamma knowledge, and also we may share this merit with our deceased relatives and also deities and all the living beings in the world. Idamme punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu. Idamme punyang nibbanassa paccayo hotu. Ettavata ca ammehi sambhatang punya sampadang. Sabbe deva anumodantu. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu. Sabbe satta anumodantu. Sabba sampatti siddhya. Idang wo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang wo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang wo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Mama punya bhagang sabba satta nang bhajemi. Te sabbe me samang punya bhagang labantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddha sasanang chirantiddhatu. Buddha sasanang chirantiddhatu. Buddha sasanang chirantiddhatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you for the explanation, Bhante. Anumodami. May our merits of keeping the precepts, listening to the Dhamma, and sharing of merits be strong supporting conditions for our attainment of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Bhante, the Dhamma talk session today has ended. If Bhante would like to rest, Bhante is welcome to leave the meeting. Thank you, Bhante. Sahabat Dhamma, kami mengundang untuk mengikuti kembali Dhamma Desana minggu depan yang akan disampaikan oleh Bhikkhu Sugatawamsa dengan judul Sutta Dhamma Cakkappawatthana bagian pertama atau Dhamma Cakkappawatthana Sutta Part 1 pada hari Minggu tanggal 4 Februari 2024 pukul 8.15 sampai 9.30 malam waktu Indonesia Barat. Terima kasih pada kesempatan Dhamma yang telah bergabung dalam Dhamma Talk ini. Dengan segala kerendahan hati, kami panitia menyampaikan permohonan maaf jika ada kesalahan atau kekurangan selama Dhamma Talk berlangsung. Sampai jumpa di kebajikan berikutnya. Sukihotu, Namo Buddhaya.